Yeah, hey, drop.
Prime Coverage Sports Network. Real coverage, real conversation.
What is up, my brother Kenny Casanova? Here with the Mac Man, Marcus Mack, and this is Primetime Hoops on Prime Coverage Sports Network as we get ready to kick it off for another week. We recap of basketball. What's going on, Casanova? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, man. You know, it's an exciting time of the year. This is my favorite time of the year. This is when I get the most excited. To me, I love it even more than March Madness, and I love me some March Madness, as you know. But nothing is like the NBA playoffs, especially when the field is so wide open and we don't know what's going to happen.
And we've already gotten a little peek at a taste of what playoff basketball could feel like as we had some amazing playoff games that kicked off during the week. It'll be recapped with a finale. The recap will be a finale tonight, and then the actual playoffs will start. First playoff games will start tomorrow at 7:30, which is what we're doing a special show today. We didn't want to compete and run. It made no sense to do a primetime hoops when we got hoops literally playing and going on. So if everybody's wondering why Primetimes is kicking off today, why we're not doing our normal schedule on Saturday, that is why, because literally the main thing will be going down and we're not trying to interrupt. We just want to be right there, ready to go. And what have you thought so far, what you saw with the first couple play-in games, Ken?
Man, are you talking about some great showcase basketball? This is the time where you start seeing players that really want it go after it. I watched Charlotte, a young team, man. These guys, they're so young, but they're so young that they don't know no better. You ain't supposed to beat the Heat. The Heat are 3-0 in these play-in game situations. They are veterans in this game. They always win it. Then we've seen this team grow up. And then we've seen Kobe White come to play, a Chicago boy. Used to play with Chicago. Now he in Charlotte, contributing to a playoff team, man. And you're watching these young guys grow up and do what they got to do. Then we watched. I'm going to give this guy credit from the Blazers. I'm going to say his name. I know I'm going to mess up his name. Denny. I'm going to just say his first name because I know his first name is Denny. He dropped 41 points in Phoenix to propel the Portland Trailblazers to the playoffs and to the 7th seed to take on the Spurs. That guy there, I watched that game. He was so methodical at the way that he was doing what he was doing. He was shooting the 3-ball. I mean, he was like 15 or 22. He was very efficient from the field, dropped 41 on him, told Devin Booker, hey, you're going to have to try again. You're not going to get in on the first go. And, I mean, we just watched some incredible basketball. Then we watched some vintage Steph Curry.
Vintage.
Horford. We watched a vintage Porzingis. We watched vintage Draymond. Everybody was in their bag that game, and I was so happy to watch the Warriors send the Clippers home so we can finally close that Kawhi is the king of LA crap that they started years ago.
I saw someone even talking about that narrative that all of a sudden Kawhi Leonard has become this like playoff assassin somehow. When did that narrative start? Kawhi Leonard ain't did jack since Toronto. Yeah, and that was when and let's be honest, if KD doesn't injure his Achilles, he probably doesn't win. He hits a prayer shot over Joel Embiid in the corner to propel them to the championship in the first place. You know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Kawhi in his heyday, and make no mistake, Kawhi's prime was with San Antonio, and whatever that last gas in the tank was with Toronto, that was Kawhi Leonard's prime. Kawhi Leonard is past his prime. And now if you want to talk about prime Kawhi Leonard at San Antonio, when he defended and shut LeBron James down for a championship, that guy was a playoff assassin. This version of Kawhi Leonard with the LA Clippers is just a aged and over the hill superstar collecting a paycheck.
Yeah, Kawhi Leonard, man, I'm very disappointed by his stint in LA. I thought at least get them to a conference championship game. The conference championship game that they got to that year when they played against Phoenix, he wasn't there. He got injured against Utah. He tore his ACL and was out for the next season. So Kawhi wasn't even there to contribute on that team that went to the conference championship.
Kawhi Leonard is the reason the OKC Thunder have a dynasty.
Yes.
It is Kawhi Leonard. No one else. Kawhi Leonard, when he got to OKC, he had Shea on his team. He had SAG, Shea Alexander Gilchrist. I'm sorry, SGA, Shea Gilchrist Alexander. Sorry, little Floridian fumble. He had him on his team.
Yeah.
He had this young budding superstar that he could have ran with until his career ended. He chose to seek a buddy who was an aging, and at that point, no one realized it, but it quickly, I think it came quickly into fruition once it happened, was that Paul George was an over-the-hill superstar. And once you traded that pick, all those picks for Paul George on top of Shea, you literally handed the OKC Thunder a title run because you gave them the superstar they needed, and then you turned around and gave them a ton of draft capital to build around that superstar. They think about this. OKC did not ever, and still has not, and probably will not have to go out and get another superstar to put around SGA. Everybody that's around him was through the draft, and then they got a couple grizzled veterans, role players through free agency. But all their glue guys have been through the draft.
Yep. Yeah, man, listen. That's crazy.
On Kawhi Leonard. That is on Kawhi Leonard. You can't blame Paul George, because even though Paul George could go to OKC and say, yeah, I want to be traded, it was on Kawhi Leonard. He had the team already in his hands. I believe they said it was Doc Rivers that told him that, hey, this kid right here, Shea, I think you should keep him. You shouldn't be trying to move on from this kid. And he was like, nope, I want Paul George. Get Paul George here. That's what did the Clippers in and started OKC on this fantastic dynastic run.
Yes, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I told everybody, I said that is my example. When I tell people stop trading for superstars because they break up everything in your as far from a depth perspective, that's the example I use. Paul George had no business being in that being traded for, but Kawhi was demanding it. He said he was going to sign with the Lakers if not. And I'm just like, you let Kawhi Leonard dictate to you what you're going to do with your team, and it came back to bite you. You spent all those millions of dollars on Paul George all those years.
Only for him to leave in free agency. Like what? After two seasons? I think it was maybe even after one. I think I got to go back and look at this, but because I'm not 100% sure exactly how that played out. But I feel like after the trade, he literally was there for 2 seasons. His contract came up, and then he got upset because they extended Kawhi. Yeah, and didn't offer him what he felt was the fair value for himself. And he was even on camera saying that if they would have had offered him just $5 million less than what they had offered Kawhi, he would have been cool. He wasn't saying he wanted to be paid the same as Kawhi. He just didn't feel that he needed to be offered what they had offered him.
Yes.
You know, as in terms of what they had offered Kawhi. And even that is a joke, because they offered you what they knew you were worth because they saw exactly what you were. You were an aging superstar. And I apologize. His time at OKC was only 2 seasons. His time with the Clippers was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But they were all it only seemed like 2 seasons. You know why? Because he literally only played 74 games the last season he was there before getting the trade. He's been in Philadelphia for the last two seasons. Not the trade, when he signed with Philadelphia, he averaged 22 points. His points were declining. It wasn't like he was ever this high scoring guy. The most he averaged was with OKC when he was the featured star before they traded him away to get SAG. He's averaging 28 points a game. That's who the Clippers thought that they were getting. That's who the Clippers thought that they were trading for, a guy who had just came off of a season where he had put up 28 points and had played in 77 games. Paul George was looking like he was one of the elite players in the league that season. After that, he would proceed to get very average once they traded for him and he had his fat contract. He would go on for 48 games, 21 points for that season, 23 points the next season. The following season after that, he'd only play 31 games, 24 points, 56 games the next season, 24 points. And then, like I said, when he finally played a full season again, he was only a 22 point per game averaging player, as opposed to the guy that was averaging 4 years ago 28 points. And I know your production is going to dip because Kawhi is on the team with you, but Kawhi more than likely was sitting out most of the season like he always does, and so you should have still been able to do more. And then we see now this season with Philadelphia only playing 41 games and averaging 16 points. Last year 16 points, and then this year 37 games, only 17 points. This is who Paul George is now, and I'm actually shocked that they did push for the a playing spot. I thought this team was dead in the water, and I guess you got to give them some credit. Shout out to Tyrese Maxey. I'm not gonna sit here and give too many other people a lot of credit for this team's success, but shout out to Tyrese Maxey. Joel Embiid is still the softest and most disappointing superstar in the last decade. I stand by that. Every time they need this dude, he's done. He's unavailable. Here they are. They fight and they scratch to get in the play in, and he can't. And he's nowhere around. He's nowhere to be found.
Already out for game one. They already said he's out, so he's not going to play game one.
He's already done. He's already done. And so, you just find yourself in a situation where it's like, man, my God, this guy, man, he's got to be the most snake bit superstar next to Bill Walton. Man, I tell you. And so it's, it's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame how somebody. It's a shame how some of this stuff plays out. But with the Hornets and the Magic tonight, who do you got?
I got the Hornets.
You know what? I wanted to, but I'm not gonna go against the home team, Kenny.
I don't like the Magic's team. I just don't like them this year. I'm not gonna lie.
Ben Carroll, something's wrong with him. Whether it's the coaching or the team, something is not right with Ben Carroll.
Yes, something is wrong with him and Wagner, because they came back this year. It just hasn't been the same like it was last year. I thought adding Desmond Baines was going to be a big addition, but it's not. Actually made them worse. They were way better last year. I will say
it threw off their chemistry for some reason, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but when Desmond Bain was added to this team, it threw off the chemistry. The pieces that they traded away to get Desmond Bain, it just, for some reason, it just hasn't meshed with, or you'd have thought with Ben Carroll, with Bain, this team would have been a lot more formidable with Wagner, but it hasn't worked out that way. And so they didn't have a great season, and the Hornets actually took the season series. But it's just something about playing at home. And I think when a team that when they at home, they have that upper hand. The Hornets already had to fight in an overtime thrilling win to get the victory to move on. And I just think that might not be enough magic in that tank. Sorry for the pun there. It wasn't intended to defeat the Magic. What about Warriors and Suns?
I'm definitely going to take the Warriors. I ain't going to lie.
Really? Chef Curry with the Magic, huh? Chef Curry in the kitchen, baby.
I'm just telling you right now, there's something about these Warriors that all of a sudden they have woken up. And the
playoff Steph is real. Playoff Steph is real. That's like, that ain't no joke. Playoff Steph is no joke.
OKC is sitting back like, please, Phoenix. Please, Phoenix. Please. But we don't want to have to deal with Steph. Even if it's a short series, you don't want to have to deal with Steph, because Steph, if it's close, he's going to steal one. I promise you that.
Yeah.
It's close, OKC. Steph is going to steal one. I don't care what building we're in. That building stuff don't matter to Steph Curry. His
Yep.
three put him on the road as well as at home. So I promise you this. OKC, be aware. If y'all get Steph in the first round and he's on a heater like he is now, and guess
Watch
what?
out.
Marcus
Watch out.
back. He got
Watch
his
out.
He had a hand injury. He got his legs. He didn't have no leg injury, y'all. He got
Exactly.
his legs.
His legs are fresh. His legs are fresh. His legs are fresh.
I'm scared for them because don't let them sneak out one, and lo and behold, do not let them sneak out two. Because I promise you this: if the Warriors get to two, they're gonna win the series. Steph is gonna find a way to win two more games. OKC better be careful with this series. They better smash them. They better show how insignificant they are and put them away quickly.
And that's assuming, like I said, they get through the Suns. They still got to play the Suns. They still got to play the Suns game. They're on the road, and it's not going to be an easy thing. I mean, the Suns had a better season by all metrics. They had a much better season than the Warriors. And so, really on paper, the Suns are the better team. But like you say, the Warriors were injured most of the season. So we're just starting to kind of see a full Warriors team right now at the end, which makes them extremely deadly. Suns at home, though, and like I say, it's hard for me to pick against a home team in these playoff series, especially in a one offer. So I'm going to go with the Phoenix Suns as well. I'm got the Suns and the Magic. Kenny's going with the road teams, Warriors and Hornets.
Road Warriors. Yes.
And then once we get all that settled, once that smoke clears, then the real heat begins on Saturday. So we got it kicking off: Raptors, Cleveland Cavaliers, Minnesota Timberwolves, Denver Nuggets, Atlanta Hawks, New York Knicks, Rockets, and Lakers. I like all of these series except really one in terms of intrigue and excitement. I don't have a lot of intrigue with the Raptors and the Cavaliers. Yes, I know Scotty Barnes is at one time people were touting him as one of the young up and coming superstars in the league, and it doesn't look that way. The dude averaged 18 points a game this year in this modern NBA. If you're averaging 18 points a game and you're the main factor on a team, you're like the guy that the ball goes to the most, that tells me all I need to know about you. And maybe he still can grow. Maybe there's, what I mean? He is still a young guy. A lot of these guys coming to the NBA so young, that there can be still time for him to develop and grow to what they thought when they drafted him. Yeah. But I just don't think that the Raptors, I mean, they had a nice season. Hats off to them too, because I didn't expect this from Toronto. Toronto's been kind of this forgotten about team ever since Kawhi Leonard left and went to the Clippers, and they got rid of all the guys, Kyle Lowry and Van Fleet, and they started over with Scotty Barnes, and this team, was basically put out the pasture in some kind of a way. They have crept on in and found themselves comfortably in the playoffs. They didn't have to play in to get in. They comfortably got their way in.
Yep. Yeah, man. Listen, that series right there, to me, I always said this: Cleveland got lucky this time. I
think they wanted that, though. I think Cleveland purposely set it up so that they could play Toronto in the first round.
Yeah. Because you rather that than play Atlanta. I'm telling you.
Yes, if you look at the way Cleveland was playing down at the end of the season, Cleveland was setting themselves up so that they could face Toronto.
Yes, I agree. And Brandon in the chat saying the same thing I'm thinking about in a later series that we're going to talk about here shortly. He said, I think Atlanta beats the Knicks in 6.
The Atlanta Knicks series. Brandon, my boy, what up, brother? Thank you for joining. That's my guy, always down. I'm gonna tell you like this. That is the series that I'm most intrigued by. I really am. And if Luka was healthy, it would be the Lakers and Rockets, hands down. If Luka was healthy, LeBron James, KD, Luka Doncic, let's go. Rockets with their young team, what I'm saying? And KD in the mix, LeBron James or Luka Austin, that would have been my right there, my eyes would have been glued to that series. But because of the injuries to Luka and Austin Reeves, my focus has shifted, and I'm looking at this Hawks Knicks series, and I think that might be one of the most toughest and most competitive out of to open the playoffs rounds. Both teams are a lot more evenly matched than people think. If you look at the record too, the Knicks only won 7 more games than the Hawks. The Hawks played tremendous basketball down the stretch. People need to understand that after the All-Star break, after they traded away Trae Young, which was a beautiful move, because Trae Young was an anchor on that team. Trae Young wanted out. He was acting like he wanted out. He had no interest. You could see it in the last couple years in trying to lead this Hawks team. And what you had around him was players clearly that wanted to be led and were looking for something more. And as soon as they got that dude at the locker room, the ball hog, the ball dominator, and they could get back to being a basketball team, all of a sudden, they actually were a DC, which makes you really go, because if you think about it, Kuminga came to this team not because of the Trae Young move. So Trae Young could have still been on this team when they made that move for Kuminga. Yeah. Why did they think it was necessary when this team clearly wasn't when everybody thought when they traded Trae Young that this team was in tank mode, and instead they were in clear out so that we could get better mode. And that's exactly what happened. And then they got a guy like Kuminga to add into the mix. Johnson has been an awesome guy for this team, and I think that's what made them very comfortable moving on. Like, oh, Trae Young, you want to go? You don't want to be it? Goodbye. Trust me, we're good. We're good. We got somebody else. Don't worry, we'll be all right. And even though they don't have a bona fide superstar yet, I said yet, because I think that Johnson kid, he's still on the come up. Kuminga still has something clearly going with him. So, like I said, yet. But as a team, boy. Yep, I forgot. Yes, my brother. Yep. But as a team,
yeah, man.
Woo! As a team, they have come together, and that is going to be a battle. And you know why? You know why the main reason why it's going to be a battle as well is because of the Knicks, Karl Anthony Towns. With his wishy-washy self. Karl Anthony Towns is the reason why no one can definitively call what the Knicks are going to do in any series. Because if Karl Anthony Towns comes and dominates the Hawks front court, it's going to be an easy series for the Knicks. But if Karl Anthony Towns comes in playing down to his competition like he does at times, playing small, even though he's a 7-footer, and he'll play against a 6'7" guy and act like he's 6'4", if Karl Anthony Towns does those things, the Knicks gonna be in a dogfight, and they could get dropped.
Yeah, I don't like I said, this matchup was one of the ones where if you're the Knicks, even if you win this series, you're probably gonna have to win it in 6 or 7, and you're gonna be worn down from having to run a lot. Because Atlanta, they're gonna run. They got
them young legs. And
they're gonna run. They're gonna run you. And they're going to keep running. And then when they do got to slow the game down, that's why you got C.J. McCollum, a guy like that, a veteran in the league who has been in plenty playoff situations. So if you need to slow the game down, you got C.J. McCollum to do it. So you got the right guy to do that. And then you got the guys, if you need to speed the pace up, you got them too. Then you got Buddy Hield. I ain't even mentioned Buddy Hield off the bench to shoot 3-pointers for them.
Exactly. Imagine if Atlanta had a closer. Yes, you know what I mean? Like a Luka Doncic. Imagine if they had a closer on that team. Boy, we'd be talking about Atlanta in a different light right now.
Yes, we would. Had they not traded, because they traded Luka. They had Luka. They traded him to Dallas. I think people forget that.
Yeah, they did. But remember, they did. Remember, I'm not gonna get on them about that because what they traded away at that time was potential over proven, and Trae Young was proven at that point. That especially after his run and a college run he had in the NCAA tournament, he was proven, and they weren't wrong in terms of that Trae Young was a good basketball player. They did not draft a bust. They didn't draft a bust. The thing that they were wrong about was that they thought that Trae Young was going to be the superstar and that Luka was just going to be an all-star, and it actually is the other way around. Trae Young is at best an all-star, and Luka became the superstar.
Correct. Yes. Yes. Another intriguing series to me too. And the reason why it's intriguing just because I think Ant-Man is back now. It's gonna be the Nuggets.
I know you're going, but it's not. I'm sorry. I just think the Nuggets are going to handle. I think the Nuggets are going to handle the Timberwolves. I mean, I'm talking about handle them.
You think it's a sweep?
I think that they might win one game, man. I think that the way the Nuggets was playing at the end of the season, the way the Joker was playing, the way he has embarrassed Rudy Gobert time and time again, the way he embarrassed Wemby, who is probably one of the best defensive bigs in the last 5 years in the game, the way he has this team humming, the way Jamal Murray is playing, and playoff Jamal Murray is real. Dude, Aaron Gordon is back and Aaron Gordon is healthy. Dude, I'm just being real. I'm sorry. The Timberwolves don't have enough in the tank. Who on this team besides Ant-Man is a go-to?
And that's their problem right there.
Julius Randle?
Yeah, that's their problem.
There's a reason the Knicks traded him.
Yeah, that's the problem. You don't have that other guy. And the problem is, no, it's not that you don't have him. The guy that you're looking for is not consistent enough. And it's Julius and Jaden McDaniels.
They're not.
They're just not consistent enough. If I can get a consistent 15 to 20 from Jaden McDaniels and a 20 to 25 from Julius Randle, I promise you they could beat them. But I don't think.
And let's be honest, DiVincenzo has been nothing that they thought he was going to be when he joined this team. DiVincenzo averaging 12 points is not what they thought when they brought him to this team. When they brought DiVincenzo to this team, they envisioned him being closer to more like an 18-point score. 12 points a game was not what they envisioned from him.
Definitely. How he played with the Knicks. I mean, he had 41 points in the playoff game. I think people forget that. DiVincenzo was playing with the Knicks.
And he's quiet with the Timberwolves.
Yes, it's just not the same. I do think it's a the reason why I said intrigue is because of Ant-Man. Ant-Man makes it intriguing for me because he is the one guy. I don't care who you are. He ain't afraid of Joker. He's not afraid of Luke.
He's one of the few superstars in the playoffs that has that killer instinct. When we talk about Karl Anthony Towns and playing small, playing down his opponents, Ant-Man is the exact opposite. He's looking to take his opponent down. He's looking to destroy and crush. He wants to win. Him, Wemby, there's some of the few young superstars in the league that ain't about the PR games. They want to win. They want to take it to you. And that's what makes him so exciting. But I'm just, like I said, the way Denver's playing, especially down the stretch, I don't see it. I don't see it being much competition.
Denver, like I said, Denver is a scary team, very scary team, man. So I think, like I said, it could go 4 or 5, but I wouldn't be shocked if it goes 6 or 7 either. If they catch if Timberwolves can catch a groove, and like I said, those guys can be consistent, it could go 6 or 7. So I'm in the middle with that series. But I do think the Nuggets win regardless. So I have the Nuggets winning that series regardless. I just think the length of the series could be a little longer if Ant-Man decides I am Ant-Man and I'm gonna go ahead and step on some stuff.
Yes, and we got some other series too out here for y'all. Listen, don't think we forgot. Obviously, the Thunder, Suns, and Warriors. That's going to be decided tonight. Pistons gonna face either the Magic or the Hornets. That'll be decided tonight as well. The other two series that are set for Sunday already though are the 76ers and Celtics, and the Trailblazers and the Spurs. These are two of my more lackluster series, and which is why I didn't even bother really putting a lot of onus in them them like we have the others, because I think these are cakewalks. I think these are tune-up games. These are tune-up games for the Spurs and a tune-up game for the Celtics. Unless Joel Embiid finds some miraculous way to get his lazy, you know what, back on the court, the Celtics are gonna run through the 76ers, because all they're gonna do is just simply ISO Maxey out. They're gonna make sure that Maxey is not able to do what he did when they won the last game and take over. They're gonna shut him in, box him in, and force other people to have to be playmakers and scorers, and it's not gonna happen. Celtics are gonna crush them, and you already know what the Spurs gonna do to the Timberwolves. It's not gonna even be funny. It's actually scaring me a little bit thinking about what the Spurs are gonna do. I think that's gonna be a pure sweep.
Yeah. I think Portland. The good part about Portland is they're young too. That's the good part about Spurs. They're getting to this team is that, oh yeah, this team is young, just like you. They got no experience, and so this is a good time to really just go in there and dominate. A tune-up, because at the end of the day, I promise you this: you get Joker next in that second round, it won't be time to be warming up. You better already be hot.
Which is exactly why I think that if they are the team that I think they are, they're going to not come in here messing around at all, get down to business. That was the one thing which let me know when the Bulls had arrived to their dynasty, or just when the Bulls had arrived at being a good playoff team in their dynasty run. And then I've used that same barometer for every team since then to see how they handle the first round. You get them out the way quickly so that you can rest and wait on your next opponent. You come in, them 4 games, it used to be 3 back in the day, now it's 4. You come in, you get them 4 games out the way, get that opponent out the way so that you could kick back. That is one of the best advantages at being a top tier seed. If you don't give yourself that, if you don't take advantage of that, if you come in lollygagging, taking it light, oh, we got this team, doesn't matter, and then they win a game, now you got to finish it in 5 or finish it in 6. You've just that's that much basketball on your players' legs, that's much more minutes on their bodies, that much more potential and chance for injury. You get a weaker team out the way so that you could kick back and wait while the next team you're waiting for is struggling and slugging it out with a team that's a lot more evenly matched with them. And so if I think that if the Spurs are on the right page, like I think they are, they seem like they're a team that is starting to arrive and realize things, they're going to do exactly what we know OKC is going to do. Take care of that first opponent quickly. Like I said, I know you, like you said, if they were to get a team, Thunder were to get a team like the Warriors, I think that they're going to do that right, because you don't want it to linger. You want to just get rid of them quickly. Get rid of them quickly and move on, man.
You better if you're the Thunder, because that's Steph Curry over there. That's not a game.
Get rid of them quickly.
You better get rid of it. You better do it. That's what I'm saying about OKC. This ain't no cakewalk this time, bro. Nope. To no championship. This is not a cake.
This gonna be the real run. And I'm really hoping. I got my fingers crossed that health is there. We already saw it rear its ugly head, and I don't really know. I'm not gonna sit on the whole LaMelo thing, what he did to Bam, and I mean, for what it looked like to me, it looked dirty. But is he the first person that's did something dirty in the NFL in an NBA playoff game? No.
I've seen his team.
Dude, I saw Dwayne Wade throw Rajon down on the ground and dislocate his elbow.
We've seen this.
I seen it.
People are acting like LaMelo's the first. He should have been thrown. He should have been this. I said, do you throw Michael Jordan out in a one-off game to win the series? No, you don't. You don't throw the best player out just because the other team's best player got hurt or something dirty.
It was petty. It was petty. Was it enough to throw him out? No, I mean, but it wasn't a petty, dirty move. It was. Yes. It was, but it wasn't enough to throw him out. No, because in the throes of the game, the way it played out, it could be construed as a natural motion. Now you go back and you analyze the replays 1,000 times. Of course, you start to see it for what it is. But it's playoff basketball, baby. It's just real.
And trust me, it's going to be a lot more physical plays than that in the playoffs. Trust me, that's nothing.
Sir.
That's nothing.
That is
nothing.
I got my popcorn ready, and once again, man, we want to thank everyone for joining us. We're gonna be next week. We'll be joined by the Con Man. He couldn't join us this week, but we always love the Con Man being a part of these things. And we're gonna be breaking down some more hoops next week. It's gonna be exciting. We're gonna be in the thick of things, so it's gonna be all them popping, Kenny, and I'm ready for it all.
Yes, it is, man. I'm excited. I'm really excited, man. I'm really excited. I know we didn't touch on Houston and LA, but that's probably a quick series. I mean, nothing.
But like I said, a reason why is because of Luka not there. It's to me that's the most disappointing series in the playoffs, because I was really looking forward to seeing that matchup, and now it's lackluster. It doesn't hold the same amount of weight. And if Houston goes through the Lakers, this is what we talked about. Did you get the Lakers' best punch?
No, not at all.
Not at
all.
Not at all. Yeah. And that's why it's just like, in that I don't, there's not much to break down unless LeBron James turns the clock, and then that'll give us something to talk about.
Yeah, to talk about if he do that.
Yeah, that'll give us something to talk about. But until then, that's a wait and see moment. Once again, make sure you guys join us next week right here on Prime Coverage Sports Network. We should be back on Saturday, but of course we're gonna be going with the NBA schedule. So once again, if we do have NBA games that are going on Saturday night, we'll move our time to adjust to either Friday or Sunday, whatever we need to make sure that we can cover all the NBA hoops properly. Kenny Casanova, thank you for joining me once again. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe to our channel. Make sure to check out all our shows. As you can see, Kenny Casanova does the Renegade Rundown as well as Lockdown. He fills in sometimes on the Lockdown podcast. He's got Prime College Hoops. You can find me on host on Unfiltered Sports, as well as sometimes I fill in, do a little morning mayhem with our brother Andrew Scheid. And of course, we do Primetime Hoops on the weekends, for you guys can all talk basketball with your boys here on Prime Coverage Sports Network. Thank you guys for joining us once again, and we out.
Yeah, hey, drop.
Prime Coverage Sports Network. Real coverage, real conversation.